Just in the last few weeks, I have genuinely tried to give my money to 3 different businesses that made it almost impossible for me to buy from them. And note, these weren't just small businesses, but medium-sized and large businesses as well. And those experiences, while extremely frustrating for me, did give me the idea for this video right here. Because the thing that actually keeps me up at night is that these businesses don't even really know that they lost my business. I'm not leaving a review or calling them to tell them they lost my business. I'm just moving on. And as someone that teaches literal business profitability for a living, this makes me crazy. And if you are watching this channel, I do not want you to fall into this trap. You may not think that this is a problem in your business, but it is more common than you know. And so it's time we talk about it. One of the most important things, maybe the most important thing you do in your business is make it easy for people to pay you. Don't add extra roadblocks or payment friction that are going to cause them to walk away when they're right there, ready to hand over their hard-earned cash. The good news is that this problem is fixable. You just have to know it exists first. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jamie Trull, CPA and Profit Strategist, and here on this channel, I love to bring you all the things you need to stay informed, organized, and profitable in your business finances, so please make sure to like and subscribe. So, how do you know if payment friction is a problem in your business? Well, I'll tell you that pretty much any business, again, small all the way up to the large corporations, probably have room for improvement here. But in this video, I want you to go through an audit process. So I'm going to walk through the various different mistakes that I have seen that are clearly leading to businesses losing sales. And while we go through it, I want you to think about your sales process and where you might have unintended friction that is causing people to walk away. Now, this applies to many different types of businesses, whether you have a brick and mortar store for someone to walk into, or you're selling online, or you're a service-based business. It may show up in different ways, but if you take payment from customers or clients, then this can affect you. So let's talk through those mistakes so that we can avoid them. Mistake number 1, not responding to inquiries fast enough. This one is actually the source of most of my frustration over the last couple of weeks. One thing that I was doing was trying to place a large catering order for an organization that I'm a part of. And we're talking hundreds of dollars of an order. In one case, I called the company, was told to put in an inquiry online, which I did. It said I would get a response within 24 hours, which I did not. Now, that specific business called me 3 days later. By that point, I had already looked at many other options and had moved on. Now, similarly, I tried to place a bulk order for something else through another business and had to call, leave a message, email twice, and even go into their store before they finally called me back. Now, that one was the smallest business of all, so I gave them a little bit more leeway, and they ended up being a great company to work with, but they almost lost me in the process. Now, think about it. These are the warmest leads you could possibly have. These are people putting up their hand and saying, I am interested in buying from you. I just need a little more information and a quote. Think about all the money that you spend on marketing and advertising, right? These people are right at your door telling you they want to buy from you. They need to be getting all of the attention as quickly as possible. Now, to illustrate this, studies have actually shown that if you are responding to a lead within 5 minutes of getting that lead, that you are going to be 100 times more likely to connect with them than even if you wait just 30 minutes. That's because people move on. Right? We're thinking about something 1 minute and then we're distracted by something else another. So if someone is in that mode trying to make a decision, make sure you don't lose their interest. For us as small businesses, this might sound really overwhelming. How in the world are we supposed to keep up with every single lead and respond in such a short time period? But thankfully, we live in a day and age where there are so many different tools that you can use to respond to leads that don't even necessarily have to be you or even a team member. Depending on your business, it might make sense to have extra FAQs or even a chatbot that somebody can ask questions to. And those types of things can at least help to cut down on the number of inquiries that make it to you. But when you do get that inquiry, you want to make sure you have a process in place to make sure that that person feels seen and they feel like the process process is moving forward. And that's typically going to be more than just an automated email. Now, in an ideal world, customers don't even have to contact you directly at all to be able to purchase from you. I highly recommend putting some thought into how you can make your process easy for someone to buy, in large part without talking to a human being at all. That's going to make your sales much more scalable over the long term. There may be exceptions to that where you do need to have a discussion specifically with someone for their specific needs, but that should be fewer and farther between. So make sure those leads are not slipping through your fingers and going somewhere else when they are right there knocking at your door. Make sure to answer it. And don't make them wait outside for 3 days. Now, moving on to mistake number 2, which is only accepting 1 or 2 different kinds of payment methods. Now, this one's really easy to overlook because sometimes we're thinking about our own preferences when we decide what types of payments to take versus thinking about our customers' preferences. If you only take Venmo because that's how you usually transact, but someone else doesn't even have a Venmo account and they prefer to use PayPal, well, you just lost a sale. If you're an in-person business and you decide you don't want to take credit cards because you don't want to pay the fee, well, a lot of people don't walk around with cash, so you're gonna have lower sales as a result. And if you require a bank transfer when someone just wants to quickly pay on their phone, then again, you might be losing that sale. The fix to this is to really audit the payment methods that you accept. Now, I recognize that accepting certain payment methods like credit cards is usually going to come with an additional cost to you. Often there are transaction processing fees of around 2.5% to 3%. And I know we don't want to pay that. However, studies show that of people who decide not to make a purchase after going through the process, about 10% of them make that choice because there weren't enough payment methods listed. So there is a true cost to not accepting multiple different types of payment methods that make it convenient for the people to buy from you. And please, I beg of you, don't use the "I'm a small business" excuse. This is something I see all the time, but it really isn't defensible. Small businesses can still be run in a professional manner that speaks to the needs of your customers and clients. I remember trying to sign my son up for some lessons one time, and I literally had to play phone tag for an entire 2 days so that I could call and give my credit card number over the phone to the person because they didn't have a link to send me to be able to pay via credit card. And I'll be honest, while I'm very forgiving when it comes to small business owners, it wasn't a really good look. We want people to feel confident paying us money and feeling like they're going to get what they paid for. And that starts with that very first transaction. All right, now moving on to mistake number 3, which is forcing clients to set up an account in order to pay you. Now, if you have an ongoing client that's going to be paying you for a while, that makes sense. But for one-off transactions, forcing them to make an account before they actually give you any money could absolutely be the reason that they leave. Now, throughout this video, you've probably noticed that I've mentioned some statistics. A lot of those come from this Baymard Institute study. So I'm going to show you some of the graphs that really illustrate these pain points. So you can see here that a full 19% of people who were abandoning carts or walking away from sales did so because they had to create an account. Every additional step you add in the process to pay you can actually result in about a 10% drop in conversion rates. So along with creating an account, you can also see that a too long or complicated checkout process also is a big reason that people walk away. So simplify your checkout process. Then later on, you can prompt them to make an account if you'd like to. However, don't do it when they're trying to buy from you. Moving on to mistake number 4, and that's surprise fees. Now, we have all abandoned cart, I am sure, for some surprise fee, whether it be shipping or some kind of convenience fee that we were not expecting that shows up only when we get to the very last step. Now, this all comes down to trust and transparency, and I think it's even more important now in 2026 than it has ever been. People want to feel like they can trust you, and surprise fees absolutely take away some of that trust. They also might make a previously in-budget purchase now be out of budget. Or in my case, I just literally hate extras. I'd rather you just put it into the price so that I don't have to feel like I'm getting nickeled and dimed. Now, that doesn't mean that there is never a place for fees to show up. You just want to make sure that you are being transparent about it and maybe offer them ways to waive the fee. For example, if you have a shipping fee, maybe orders over $75 have that fee waived, and then it encourages them to find a little bit more to put in their shopping cart to get rid of that fee. This one works on me, I have to admit, pretty much every single time. So just make sure you aren't accidentally eroding trust with surprise fees. So those are the main points of friction that I wanted to talk to you about. There are some others you can see that are listed here as far as reasons that people walk away. Now, obviously the number one reason that people walk away is because they were just browsing. But again, a well-designed sales process and good marketing might have made it so that those people just could not buy. And that's how we want them to feel when they are thinking about buying from us. Additionally, things like delivery being too slow for a physical product-based business is obviously something to think about as well. And you'll notice that trust actually comes up a few times here. 19% walked away because they didn't trust the site with their credit card. And 15% walked away because the website had errors or crashed. Again, this all goes back to trust. You have to make sure you're fostering trust from people buying from you. There are so many scams out there, and you need to show how you are different. And like I said, I think this is even more important in 2026 because so many people, probably including yourself, have been burned in the past. So things that may have worked 5 or 10 years ago are different now. We have to keep up with the times and what people want and expect. And with that, I also want to call out one here that I thought was really interesting on this list, and that was the return policy not being satisfactory. And again, I think that's another one that's really about trust. Now, whether they're buying an article of clothing and they're not sure it's going to fit them, or if they're buying a digital product or a service and they're not sure it's going to be right for them, they want options. And this right here is one of the reasons that our business recently made a somewhat countercultural decision. Now, of course, as small business owners, we want to make sure that we are protected, but we also need to think about how we can make sure that our customers and clients feel protected as well. And that's why my company just switched to a 90-day, no questions asked refund policy on all of our digital products. So if you purchase any of our digital products, whether that be worksheets to help keep you organized in your business finances or toolkits to help you save on taxes, you will have a full 90 days to decide if it's right for you. Now, is this a little bit risky for our company to do? Maybe, but I also think it's really important to live out the values that we have as a company and stand behind what we do. And I want to make it an easy yes for anyone who is considering purchasing a product from our business. Now, I'll be honest, a year from now, I might come back on this channel and say this was a terrible idea and you shouldn't do it. But right now, it feels like a really great decision for our business. And it feels really aligned with our values. And we want our customers to trust us. And we want them to know that we've got their back. I teach about business finances, so what kind of person would I be if I didn't think about them being financially protected as well? Okay, so back to it. Now you know why companies are often losing sales. So now is the time I want you to audit your own process. Literally, if you have a website, pull it up and go through the checkout process yourself and see where you run into any friction. Look for things like, how long did it take you to actually find where to pay? How many steps were between you and checkout? Were there any surprises or roadblocks, extra fees, account creation, or additional required fields? What payment methods were available to pay from? Did it feel like enough variety for people who want to pay in different ways? And did you get a confirmation immediately? And did it feel professional? I want you to write down every single friction point you find, even if it's a small one. You don't have to necessarily fix them all at once. You can start with the one that you think might be leading to the most lost sales and start there. Make some tweaks and then start watching that money roll on in. And if you're wondering, what the heck am I going to do with all this extra profit that's going to come into my business? Well, it's time for you to institute a profit plan. And a profit plan is essentially my methodology to give every single dollar in your business a job. And some of them are really important ones, like paying yourself. So if you found this helpful and you're wondering what else you can do to help maximize your profitability and make more money in your business, I want you to go take our Profit Path Diagnostic. It's going to tell you exactly where you are on your business finance journey and tell you what you need to focus on next to make the biggest change in your business. So check that out at jamietrull.com/profit path or use the link on the screen right now. You deserve to get paid easily, consistently, and without having to chase anybody. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.